What? Good Lord. Try again. No sound? There you go. It's so odd. It's so odd. It doesn't matter. Anyway, let's start all over again. Welcome to WDW Radio Live. I'm Lou Mongello. If you're watching live, grab a snack, invite a friend, and sit back and relax. And if you're watching on replay, don't forget to join me. I got to put my glasses on at the very beginning because I clearly wasn't seeing the chat. Sorry about that. Don't forget to join us every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, as we continue our YouTube experiment. I welcome your feedback one way or the other. The first bit of feedback I'm getting is make sure your microphone is actually working, which is probably something I should have learned 20 years ago when I first started doing this. Anyway, we have a lot to talk about tonight, and the show that I was planning on talking about was completely upended by the surprise news that we got today. We're going to talk a lot, and I'm very curious to hear your thoughts about the Disney Destiny. And there's other stuff I want to chat about. We're going to talk about this week's podcast. I was really excited to share and have Kendall back on to talk about the 10 most influential women in Disney history. This show was fun to do and difficult to do, because how do you limit and with the research, and I have to do a blog post, so many incredible women in history, including a lot of names that you probably never heard of but don't realize the impact. That's a lot, I know, of what we wanted to do. Yeah, Beth, somebody else said that about the ads. I don't know why all of a sudden it started happening tonight. I will go back and fix that. I'm not interested in the monetization aspect of this, so I will see if I can. I'll see if I can tweak that a little bit. And I know, and listen, just before we move forward, I know there's no perfect solution. A lot of people have abandoned Facebook. The quality on YouTube is better. You don't have the community aspect on YouTube. People weren't getting notifications on Facebook. And the feedback I've gotten is divided. So I'm still continuing to work and tweak and figure this all out. It sounds like no solution that I come up with is going to be perfect for everybody, but we'll figure something else out. So Kristen says the podcast was fantastic. Loved hearing all of those stories. I think this podcast is going to give rise and birth to other shows where we dive a little bit deeper into some of these incredible stories, because the journeys that these women went on to get the roles that they did at Disney, I think, was fascinating as well. And for some of them, the personal relationships that they had with Walt was also really interesting to look into as well. So can we touch on the D23? So my original plan was to sort of go deeper into D23. We can probably chat about that a little bit. We'll see how the day goes. If we have to do another live show this week just to talk about D23, we will, because there's a lot to chat about. And the Disney Destiny news today sort of came out of left field. There was no sort of indicator that something was percolating behind the scenes. And it's, yeah, so anyway, we'll get to that. We'll probably talk a little bit about D23, because we will be back at D23 again. WDW Radio, Mouse Fan Travel, side by side, mano a mano, together on the show floor. Plans are already underway for that. So I see some people saying YouTube is my choice. Yeah, and somebody else said, yeah, when the ads pop up, I think you can skip them after like 3 or 4 seconds, but I'm going to see what I can do about ditching the ads altogether. Speaking of announcements this week, a couple of things I want to touch on quickly just before I forget, before we get to the end of the show. You know, the podcast is the heart of what I do. The community is the soul of what I do. Some of the favorite parts of what I do is this, because it's real time, it's unscripted. I would do live video all day long over doing recorded video, because I don't like pushing out content and then waiting for a response. I love this interactive community feel. And it's why I love the live chats so much. However, the next level with that is there's nothing beats person to person, face to face. So our next meet of the month is going to be in April 21st at Disney's Hollywood Studios. It is over the Run Disney Springtime Surprise Weekend. So the 10 miler is that Sunday morning. It gives you time to go back, shower, please, then come out to the meet of the month. Come alone, come with friends. It doesn't matter. Bring the whole family over at the studios. And then May's meet of the month is very much, it's way on the road because I'm going back to London, or right before our Adventures by Disney to London and Paris. So we're going to do, man, this is the first time in a long time I've done an on-the-road meetup overseas in London, Sunday, May 19th at Burr & Company in London. It's this wonderful little coffee shop at the Kimpton Fitzroy, which is the hotel that we're going to be staying at for that. Now it looks like for some reason the stream just disappeared there for a minute. Anyway, apologize for that. Wow, it's going to be one of those nights. The microphone doesn't work. It stopped streaming. It's why I love live video, right? This is exactly some of the reasons why, because when things like this happen, it's okay. We just keep moving forward. Anyway, if you're interested in coming with us to Japan, my favorite place on earth, we have an interest list. It's a no obligation interest list, but if you are curious about coming, if you want to join, I very strongly suggest getting on the interest list as soon as possible because we've had an amazing response so far. So there you go. Now, hopefully the mic will work. The internet will still work. It's the beauty of live video. So there were a couple of things. Oh, just very quickly on a sort of the non-Disney side of things, I did have some announcements about my Momentum series of workshops and events. I also revealed that not just in addition to a new logo, I'm going to be releasing my first mini course. And I also, oh, by the way, I also have something free for you. If you're thinking about sort of starting or continuing on, wait, not that one, your entrepreneurial journey, you can go and download right here a free guide. It's Mindset Mastery. It's sort of 7 traits that I think every solopreneur and creating it. It's just my gift to you to say thank you for the life that you've given me, and because I want to try and help you move forward as well. And also, I have, forget that $200 off until 2/26. I will give you, if you use code video100, I have 1 spot left for my weekend retreat in Orlando coming up next month. So there you go. What else? Oh, you know what else I wanted to chat? I'm going to do a separate video. But yesterday, I went to eat for the very first time for a Greet, Meet, and Eat at Eat with Chef Manichwan. It was wonderful. If you've never been to Eat before, if you've never sort of dipped your toe in the Indian flavors and food, Eat was amazing. And this was an incredible experience. There's 4 more additional dates coming up over the next 4 months. But I really, really had a wonderful time. I shared a lot on my Instagram stories as well. So it's a great experience, especially if you've ever watched Food Network and you've seen her before, she's as lovely and wonderful and sweet and funny and friendly as you see her on TV. Like, I could have chatted with her all night long. So Sheldon Finley, nice to see you again, my friend. But let's get into it. Let's get into the Disney Destiny news today, which I think caught all of us really by surprise. We were revealed not just the name of the ship, but a little bit more in terms of details and what she's going to, well, I mean, she's obviously going to be a sister ship to the Wish, and then next year or later on this year, the Treasure. So in terms of, at least we know exterior, what she's going to look like. I'll be very curious to hear and see what the interior is going to look like. We see the reveal of the Hero mini coin, which makes me think they're also going to be sort of leaning into a little bit more maybe on the Marvel side and the backside of water, the backside of the coin. And what I wanted to share too, if you didn't get a chance to see it, I want to share the video that they revealed today, and then I want to chat and get some of your thoughts. But in case you haven't seen it, here's the video that Disney revealed earlier today of the Disney Destiny coming in 2025.
When a cruise ship is built, a commemorative coin is created that's meant to bring good fortune to every voyage. Each coin is very special.
Captain Minnie, the coin is missing.
Then we've got to find it. Hello? Has anyone seen a coin? Hello? Oh my! If anyone
This coin? It's a hero coin, commemorative. I'm the hero, Hercules.
Captain Minnie. And the coin I'm looking for has me engraved on it.
Then you must be a hero too.
Hello. Hades, Lord of the Underworld. And you are?
Captain Minnie. And I'm looking for my lost coin.
Now hold your winged horses, Captain. I do not have your precious coin.
Hey!
Now I have your precious coin.
Give it back, Hades.
Ooh, that commanding voice. So resonant. No, by the way. But help me out here. See, now that I do possess the coin, I've got one teensy tiny burning question. Why does everyone have a coin with their face on it except me? Get a grip, guys. Ow.
Captain, now!
Nice grip.
Now that I have the coin, I need to get back to the shipyard.
Goodbye, Captain. I knew you were a hero.
Well, there's a hero in all of us.
Ick.
So I think there's a lot to unpack here. A couple of things that I noticed in the chat as it was going by. Sean says, is this the ship that Bob Chapek bought for the Asian market? This is not. That's going to be the Disney Adventure that will be based out in Asia. This is the third of the sister ships of the Wish, the Treasure, and now the Destiny. Love the name and the bow coin. Not sure that Beth says, I'm not sure that I'm a fan of the 3 IPs they seem to be focused on. Again, one of the things I thought was an interesting. So I love that. Okay. I love the concept of heroes and villains. I think there's a wonderful way they can lean into this. I'm very curious to see what those, I'm going to call them flex spaces, are going to be themed after. What I mean is the sort of that main lounge, the Tiana's in on the Wish, the Jungle Cruise Lounge on the Treasure. What is that lounge? What is the hyperspace / Haunted Mansion lounge going to be themed after on the ship? And Periscope Pub, which we know is going to be 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea for the Treasure. How are they going to theme these 3 distinct areas? Assuming, as I think we should, that the layout of the ships, for better or for worse, is going to be the same as the Wish and the Treasure. Again, I know I come from a little bit of a different angle because I think in terms of going as a group, some of the spaces are a little bit smaller. However, some people said they love the choice of heroes and villains, but what we saw in that video, excuse me, in addition to seeing Captain Minnie, was a lot of Hercules and Hades, which I absolutely dig. But they also seem to be leaning into the Lion King as well, which I think, we see that coming. We have that on the Wish. I don't know that we need to sort of repeat that here. Certainly it's a hero and villain story, as many Disney films are. I would have loved to see a different IP brought in here. I think there's a lot of different ways they could have gone with it. I think if we all were sort of the head of Imagineering and Disney Cruise Line for a day, we could come up with our own favorites and why we thought they would fit. Sean says, I love the theme. It makes so much sense. Hannah says it's the best. Is Hades the best villain ever? We should, we did. I think a few years ago, Nicholas and I with Tim, if somebody can find it, and I think we did the top 10. No, maybe we did heroes. Wait a minute. Maybe I need to hold on a second. Top 10 villains. Because I have thoughts and feelings about this and who I think what makes a good villain. Is it how evil the villain is, or somebody like Hades? Because there's a lot of humor and fun to it. Jim Morohosky, I'm way ahead of you. When I see you, you'll know exactly why. Sue says, I'm hoping they have time to reconfigure the interior of the ship. I do as well. I don't know. I don't know if they will, right? They certainly have had time, but it's also a massive undertaking. It's not like moving a wall in your house, when when it's under construction, it's pretty easy to move something here and there. I can't imagine the what it would take on a ship-wide level to change the configuration of spaces, because there's just so many factors that we can't imagine. Denise says, what ship is the Haunted Mansion Lounge? That is going to be the Treasure. However, they say that it's going to offer experiences based on Disney Animation Studio stories like The Lion King and Hercules. However, Hercules, it's one of the funniest scenes ever in a movie. However, if you look very carefully, as we all did, this is a picture it's a screenshot of one of the final images that we see. What do we see here? Let's see if I can zoom this in a little bit. Oops. Okay, clearly I cannot. It doesn't matter. We see the Haunted Mansion. I see Black Panther. I see Spider-Man. I see Pirates of the Caribbean, and I see Edna Mode from The Incredibles. Now, if we sort of connect the dots based on past ships, The Incredibles makes me think of the Hero Zone, Spider-Man, Black Panther, certainly not just the Kids Club, but is there going to be another Marvel superhero themed? It's going to be sort of a copy of the Marvel superhero restaurant there. Haunted Mansion is also here as well. Will they be replicating the Haunted Mansion Lounge, or is something new coming? Time is going to tell. I think they're going to continue to tease us. But how do you think this theme of heroes and villains might enhance or impact the cruise experience? How much do you think that they might lean into it? And what heroes and villains would you like to see represented on board, whether it's in one of the spaces, whether it's in a show? All right, I start thinking about what the entertainment is going to look like. Kimberly, I agree. I think a Hercules stage show is long overdue. I think it has some of the best music. I love the gospel choir at the beginning and the end. I love the music from the production as a whole, and I think it would really play well on stage. That's what I'm hoping. Us seeing so much of that in this promotional video is going to indicate, and already people are starting to lean in here. Hades is not the best villain ever. Scar is. That's why we need to do this as a show, and we need to sort of get feedback. Darren says, why isn't Bambi more prevalent throughout Disney, including the ships? It's funny because everybody sort of has their own favorite. Any Kingdom Hearts fan know why Hades is the best. I've never played Kingdom Hearts. Matthew Woolley, you get me with the Nutty Professor reference. A lot of love coming in for Edna Mode. Yeah, I don't know why the ads are starting all of a sudden. There's nothing I could do about it, unfortunately, at this time. I will find out why. I did not turn them on, so I don't know why they automatically got turned on, but I will get rid of them because it's not my MO for what I want to do with this channel. Matthew, I saw the ad for that. Paper Mill Playhouse, by the way, is this wonderful. It's been around for decades in central New Jersey, and it's this wonderful little theater there. And that they did do a Hercules show there, which I wish I could have gotten to go and see, but that would have required me going down to. Okay, so I did do a top 10 villains. All right, so thank you, Mike. I'm sorry, thank you, Howie, for show 593 was top 10 villain. I think the most evil. This is not the best villain, right? Because there's villains that you love to hate or love to love, like Hades. And then there's I don't know why we're freezing tonight. I'm going to blame my my local internet service. Sorry about that. Favorites are Cruella, Mother Gothel. Some people are saying no ads. It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. There are hero and villains with The Incredibles. Maybe they are going to. Yeah, I'm curious to see what they do and how this expansion of the Disney Cruise Line fleet, like, is this going to be like the dream and the fantasy, relative carbon copies of each other with some changes in design a little bit, or are they going to have taken guest feedback and making some changes to the interior layout of the ship, which might, I think, overall improve the experience for guests? My question is, now with, and we don't even know where the ship is going to port out of, right? Maybe this is going to be a West Coast ship. Maybe it's a Galveston ship. We don't know. Maybe it's a ship that's going to be permanently ported in the Northeast because there's only so many ports and terminals. Is it going to be in Tampa, right? Because you've got the Fort Lauderdale terminal. You've got Port Canaveral, which again can only hold so many ships at one time. But does the theme of the ship influence your desire to book on it, right? So how does this idea of heroes and villains potentially impact your desire to go on the ship? Is it ship driven? Is it time driven? Is it destination driven? Is it port driven? Or does the theme play into it? I think those of us who have cruised on Disney Cruise Line before, we certainly have ships that we favor and are our favorites for one reason or another. I think there's also sometimes like, look, just get me out to sea on Disney. I don't care what ship it is or where we're going. I have not seen the new show as yet. I'd be very curious to see, because my kids watched it eons ago, the original. So, the villain for the stream is Frozone. Hannah, I tried to play Villainous, and I must not be smart enough to play Villainous. I had gotten the main set. I sat down with my family one night to try and play it, and I found it very, very, very confusing. So we tried for about 45 minutes. We gave up and played Monopoly instead. And maybe I just need somebody to teach me first, but I just found Villainous to be a little bit of a heavy lift and a little bit confusing to play. So Lauren says, I'll go on the ship no matter what, but I'm really excited about the theme. Jennifer says, I just love a Disney cruise. And I think, Sue's right. I think the theming plays a part, especially for something like this, for people that really do love the idea of the heroes and villains. I know for me, the theming of the treasure is what is going to get me on the treasure, without a doubt. Again, when we, having cruised with a group on the Wish twice, I was also on again for a non-group event, but in a sort of group environment. It's very difficult for us to gather as a group, so it sort of clouds my opinion a little bit. So I like some of the other ships for different reasons. And when the treasure was announced, it was going to be the same thing. I said, well, it's going to be hard for us to do a group on here. Maybe we don't need to do the treasure. But then they announced the theme, they announced the locations, and now all of a sudden we're going on the treasure, by the way, in 2025. In case you are wondering, February 8th through the 15th for our anniversary, we are going to be on the treasure, but we're also going to be on the Magic this October, which I can't wait because it's the Magic. It's out of Lauderdale. It's going to go to Lighthouse Point, and it's Halloween. That's a theme that got me on that ship. We've been saying for years, we've done Christmas cruises, we've done Star Wars, we've done other Marvel days at sea, but Halloween on the high seas really was a huge attractor for me. And then certainly we needed to go on the treasure as well. Let's see. I think the theme drove me to book the Disney Treasure instead of the Dream. And I think that the idea of the bright, shiny new object of the ship. Hannah says it was on the Dream, but the really different ships' themes are a major draw to try each. Amy says, I want to meet and greet with Will and Elizabeth on a cruise ship or at. I don't think I've ever seen those characters in any sort of a theme park or cruise line capacity. The treasure is going to be a must. Yeah, I'm really curious to see the new spaces. More importantly, I'm curious to see how they're going to get people out of that haunted mansion. How they're going to get people out of any of those spaces, because I think of all the ships, because this touches on the theme parks and really the sense of leaning into the sense of nostalgia so much, I think it's a huge attractor for people who might have dismissed the treasure or might have never even cruised before, but are so excited, especially for that haunted mansion lounge. Like, I think it's going to be just like, it's going to be. Karen is already working on her costumes right now. I'm down to two. I'm down to two costume ideas. One of them is non-Disney, but I can pretty much guarantee nobody has ever worn this costume on a Disney Cruise Line ship before. It's completely family friendly, but if you get it, you get it. And I desperately want to wear this. So hopefully we'll have I'll have to do multiple costume changes so I can be both. Because one is a Marvel character and one is a not a very non-Disney, but it's a non-Disney character. Let's just say that it is a character that touches me on a very nostalgic level. So Mike Beckerman, I agree with you, my friend. So many cruises, so little time. And it's funny, I was even thinking, like, October's so far away. Like, I wonder if I can sneak in like a little 3-4 day cruise over the summer at some point, just to get away for a couple, just like get back on a Disney ship. So, but who knows what else I might be working on too, especially as I talk about if you watch the video that I mentioned earlier about Momentum, you might, you can find it there. You might see a little bit about what I'm not saying that there's plans for a Momentum at sea, but I also just did. So, Jen, I do not have a chicken tender. I don't even know what that would look like, but I know it would be horrific on me. So there will be a chicken tender meetup, as there usually is. Emily says we're dressing up every night. Emily, maybe that's the play. Maybe that's the play right there. Planning on dressing up every single night, because it is going to be like, it's Halloween time. It doesn't have to be a Halloween, because it's not a Halloween. You're right. It's not a Halloween day at sea. It's Halloween on the high seas. So just because it starts 10 days before, maybe that's it. Maybe I need to have a costume every night. And then we have we'll do like a costume contest for somebody to bring like the best costume. It is not going to be, hey, wait a minute, I think I'm insulted by this, Darren. I think it's not going to be an Ewok, although I do have an Ewok costume, and it is not going to be Ant-Man. Betsy Haas, fortunately, it is not going to be a Grease-themed costume. Again, nobody's going to want to see a Grease-themed. Hey, wait a second. What just happened there? Nobody would want to see a Grease-themed costume on me. Let's see if I can fix that. Nope, that doesn't do it. There we go. I could. Well, we'll see. Maybe. Never again. What is going on? Why all of a sudden are my graphics being all kinds of crazy wonky? Cassie Tucker says a cruise is always a good idea. No truer statement has ever been spoken. Cassie, have you ever cruised before? Have you? I think you have. I think we talked about this. But especially for Momentum at sea, I'm just saying. Someone from Battlestar Galactica. You know, Karen, I would love to get one of those jackets from the late 70s Battlestar Galactica, but I think there'd be like 2 guys on the ship that would know who it was. Plus, it'll be so hot. But I do like this idea. Wait a minute, I have to write this down. I'll need a bag like just for I'll be like an influencer. I'll need like a bag just for my costumes. Kenneth Puccia, I think I'm insulted by this too. He says a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I think that's a jab, a little bit of a jab. That's why I wear dark colors all the time. Is the Destiny the last of the known new Disney ships? No, Hannah, there's also going to be the Disney Adventure out in, that's going to be late 25, 26 for the Asian market. I think right now the Adventure is the last one that is planned to be part of the fleet. So Marco was saying we had to cancel the Halloween cruise. I did not know you canceled, and now I am sad as well. And I also want to know what your costume was going to be, just because I imagine you like bring it in a big way. So Deb Gal says, an alien costume. If you know, you know. I think that you are making reference to my feeling about the aliens and Now, Token Fanboy says Hurley from Lost. That is definitely a stab at my weight. And listen, I'm only looking a little fluffier tonight because I had an amazing ramen dinner at one of my favorite Japanese izakayas night, because they had a special Godzilla like tie-in going on. So I went for it literally was a Godzilla sized ramen. It was huge. I won't say how much I spent on this ramen, but it was absolutely worth it. It was an A5 Wagyu ramen that was like that big. There's not one, but two giant like Tupperware things full of leftover ramen, which may or may not be my snack later. It won't be someone from Lost. I think it's too obscure. I would just look like I'm a hobo wearing like raggedy clothes. And I think if I was somebody from Lost, people would think I'd be Hurley. So I'm not sure I could pull that type of costume off. So anyway, if you want to join us on either or both of these cruises, you can get a no obligation quote from our friends over at Mousefan Travel by going to www.com/cruises. Somebody said, what about Captain Stubing? If I was on the Princess Cruises, which I was on a Princess Cruise, I think that would be more appropriate. Otherwise, I just don't see myself in sailor whites looking the way that I would hope to look. I just don't like. I would be going for like the Maverick look, and I'd look a lot more like Captain Stubing. So I probably should stay away from the whites. Kung Fu Panda. Okay, now you're just starting to hurt my feelings. Now this is just, it's borderline getting a little bit insulting. Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, but he's not a sweet guy. All right, we need to move on to clearly a different topic. See, and now Andrew Milan. It's my weight and my height, and these are the people I call my friends. Like, past tense, called. But I do. You know what? I would dress as Tattoo. And I'm going to walk right into it. I was like, if I could go with someone who was, obviously everybody is much taller than me, somebody else would be Mr. Work, and I would be Tattoo, and I would have to do the plane to plane, but it's fine. It's fine. So, Mark says, hopefully I'll be able to do he was going as TikTok, like TikTok the crocodile? Or is there another TikTok, or TikTok like the soon-to-be banned social media platform? If I could pull off the sailor whites, so can you. Mike Beckerman, when you were, you'll always be Captain Mike in my book, but you wore them very well, even with, the shorts and the socks up to your knees, but I don't think I could do it. Captain Nemo, more like Gopher. It's just my any sort of feeling. I felt really good about myself a couple hours ago, and now it's completely gone. It's fine. I'll drown my sorrows in ramen. So, a couple of you were asking about D23, which I know is no longer called it's no longer called D23 Expo. It is now D23, the Ultimate Fan Celebration. I took a quick look at the release. I was actually supposed to be out in California for an event where they shared this yesterday, and I unfortunately couldn't make it out there. But what we did see is not one, not two, but three signature evening events at the Honda Center: the Disney Entertainment Showcase, the Disney Experiences Showcase, and the Disney Legends Ceremony Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which it sounds like, if I'm reading this correctly, the big have been the biggest draws in terms of the panels and presentations, parks and resorts, movies, and Disney Legends are being moved over to the Honda Center. I wish I was there so I could have asked somebody. The Honda Center is not connected to the convention center. The Honda Center, from what I understand, is about a 10 or so minute drive. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. From the convention center, I have to assume that, one, there's going to be a significant gap between when the show floor closes and when these begin, which are at 7 o'clock, and 5 o'clock, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So do they close the show floor at 4 o'clock, give people 2 hours to get over and get seated? I'm assuming so. As somebody who's going to be exhibiting on the show floor, that's going to present an additional. And then how are you going to move all these guests, like, down the street, as it were? Like, how many buses and modes of transportation are there going to be? I'm sure they have it figured out. It also says it's going to be the largest, most immersive show floor ever at Anaheim Convention Center. Some of the folks I talked to from who are on the planning side did say, yeah, and I've seen some of the maps. The show floor is going to be bigger, enhanced shopping opportunities, a sweepstakes, and an inaugural D23 day at Angel Stadium on Sunday, August 4th, which is really 4 days before events kick off, because there's going to be a D23 day at Disneyland on August 8th. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday is when the actual expo, which is not the expo anymore, begins. So I will be very curious to see, and tickets, I believe, go on sale next week, right? There's an Ultimate Fan Pass, a Preferred Fan Pass. There's an Anaheim Convention Center Access Only Pass. Tickets go on sale on the 26th for Gold members, Visa card holders on the 27th, and General on the 28th. So D23 Gold members get a commemorative pin this year. So I don't know why this keeps freezing tonight. Like, it's been fine the last few weeks, so it must be my wonky internet outside. So, but yeah, I see there's a delay on my side as well. Well, it's we're batting 1,000 tonight. If video and audio aren't synced, just refresh your page. I will do it on my end as well, because I see I'm having the same issues. I will get to the bottom of the lag, and I'll get to the bottom of the ads as well. So, who's going to D23 this year? Who's going to the Ultimate Fan event this summer? I will be there. Becky's going to be there. I know I have a bunch of friends who are coming as well. Audiovisual being out of sync. That is so odd. This is so very odd. The voice and pictures aren't in sync. Yeah, it looks like it's just one of those nights. It looks like it's just one of those nights. So maybe this is just me getting a hint to call it a bit of a day and regroup, and we'll come back another day to see what's what. So, because it looks like we are still frozen. Yeah, it looks like we might be frozen. This is it's the beauty and the curse of live video. You are sometimes beholding to the internet fates, as it were. So, yeah, it looks like we're frozen. Brett, I think you're right. I think it's aliens. So, you know what? I think we'll just call it a night for tonight because it doesn't look like, well, here comes the chat coming through. Me. A lot of folks look like they're coming to you, Tater. You know, brother. It's uploading videos is one thing. Doing live is a whole nother ball of wax. I love it when it works, but man, it comes with its set of, it definitely comes with its set of challenges. So, Amanda Bonner from me and the Magic. I hope you're doing well. We have to plan. Amanda, by the way, in her ridiculously wonderful, glorious generosity, won our auction, over marathon weekend, and we are going to do we're going to do a review together again soon. Plus, I just love having Amanda on the show. And if you love traveling solo, not just to Disney, but anywhere, go and visit meandthemagic.com. She's got a podcast, she's got a blog, she's got all kinds of fun stuff, and she's just a good person all around. But don't tell her I said that. So, Brett is convinced it is the aliens. So, Matthew says, first time in Disneyland 2, so excited to bring Lincoln to Avengers Campus. He's going to lose his little marbles when he sees the Man of Iron and all. Yeah, he will go crazy. You will go crazy as well. I love Avengers Campus. So the audio is cutting in and out. It's synced. It's so bizarre. I don't know why. Like, pop-up ads out of nowhere, which I will figure out. Out of sync, frozen. It's fine. We were able to cover the important stuff, as it were, for tonight. We talked about the Disney Destiny. I'd love to hear some more thoughts. You can post these in the clubhouse about the Disney Destiny. We also talked about some of the events coming up, our Meet of the Month next month, and then the following month in May, our meetup overseas in London. And again, if you're interested in joining us in Japan, you can go to www.com/Japan25. Now, next week, I am traveling to destinations unknown. You can follow along with me. I leave on Monday morning for a conference that I'm speaking at, and I'll share more from while I'm there. I'm getting in a day early-ish. I've got a meeting on Monday, but then I've got some free time, and I think I know exactly where I want to go and where I want to take you with me. Maybe I'll even try and go live again. Speaking of which, this is all part of an experiment. This is all part of what I am just calling the YouTube experiment. I really would love your feedback. And again, I know that there is no perfect solution when it comes to live. Facebook has its pros and cons. YouTube has its pros and cons. I'm trying to weigh all of these out so that going forward, I can reach as many people as possible and let you have the best overall experience that you can. Unfortunately, I have to sort of pick a platform because, yes, I can go live to both when I'm here, but when I am out and I'm doing it from my phone, I have to pick one or the other. And then invariably, somebody's like, well, wait a minute, how come you go live sometimes on YouTube and sometimes? So I'm trying to pick one and find the best of all worlds. I know whatever I end up going with is not going to make everybody happy, but hopefully it will make you happy enough and not abandon the live, because this is what I love most. So I will be on the road next week. There's some other things I have planned for upcoming live shows, and certainly I welcome your feedback as well. Did you have an issue with ads? So that was on Ustream way back when. Like, Ustream was literally before social media, which I wish I could go back to Ustream and not have ads because it was on my site. We didn't have to worry about any of this kind of nonsense, but yet here we are. So anyway, yeah, I probably won't be able to go live until I travel next week. But again, don't forget, if you're interested in joining me well, this looks like it is clearly again, I just saw it happen again. This is not normal. I swear this has never happened before. It literally has never happened before on YouTube. Something must be wonky on my end. So I apologize for what might be a frustrating evening. I will get to the answers at some point, and I promise you a better experience next week. I think that's going to do it. I think that'll do it for tonight. If there's ever anything that I can do for you, please let me know. If you are coming out to Walt Disney World or any destination on the planet, please go and visit my friends over at mousefantravel.com. And thank you for being part of the community, for listening to the show, for hopefully sharing the show. Do me a favor, if you liked this week's episode about the top 10 most influential women in Disney history, please share it out. Invite somebody else to listen, subscribe, become part of the community and conversation. I welcome any feedback, and if there's ever anything I can do for you, please reach out and let me know. So until next time, until next week, I hope that I'm having a great day tomorrow, and I hope the day after is even better, and you continue down that trend. So I love you. I appreciate you. See ya.